What up, guys? Jason Guyman here with King of Pressure Wash, and tonight I am going live from New York. And I have built a rig in 3 days. I didn't know if it was going to be done or not, but we will talk a little bit about this here shortly. But I just want to talk tonight a little bit about equipment, and I'm probably going to talk about Rick because that's where I've been at and how he's done over $1 million with very minimum equipment. And I know a lot of times we see all this amazing equipment, and so we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about how to get your average ticket up. We're going to talk about all kinds of things of how to grow your business. Now, I know that we're in New York and it's been beautiful the last few days, and next week is supposed to be crappy. And so across the country, it's you never know when is it going to be good enough for stuff to grow. And so as we talk about this and you have questions, definitely ask your questions. I've got to see some really cool people this week. There was a guy that came up and took action, right? We know that what grows our business is taking action. And so he jumped on the call when I asked, hey, is there anybody in the area that wants to come and learn and just hang out and help me? And Tyler came over from about 2.5 hours away from Rochester, I believe, or New Albany, and he came and helped us. And so we're going to just talk about all kinds of things about how to grow your business, how to do the things that you need to do to grow your business and be successful. So before we always get started, I always like to see kind of who's in the comments here. We got from Palm Coast, Florida in the house. How are you doing? Hello from East Coast, Florida. We got a bunch of Florida people here tonight. We got Alvin. How are you doing, Alvin? We got Dustin from Canada. Canada to Canada. Waving a hand from Florida again. We got somebody from Cleveland. I'll be driving through Cleveland tomorrow as I head back home. And then, so yes, and you're asking a big long question, and I will answer that question. And when I come back in through here to answer my questions. So, what's up, Mason? How are you doing? So, the background reminds me of a couple of police stations that I visit while being questioned. Well, it is a hotel room. So this week I have came up here to New York. I helped Rick up here with US Vets Exterior to build his rig, and that's the reason why I'm going to talk about equipment. I was going to talk about something else, and I just wanted to hit on equipment. And so as we talk about equipment, I know this is something that a lot of people always don't know what to get, don't know what to do. Should I buy $20,000 worth of equipment? Should I buy $50,000 worth of equipment? Should I buy $10,000 worth of equipment? Should I buy $1,000 worth of equipment? And a lot of this is going to depend on you. What kind of budget do you have to do your business? Right now, Rick has been in business. This is his 5th year, going on his 5th year, and he has used Harbor Freight, the Harbor Freight Predator motors on the pressure washers, steel rolling it out of his pressure washing trailer, and he's been doing this for 5 seasons now. And so when I come up here, we built the rig. We put a 5.5 gallon pressure washer in it. We put that was the picture that was on the front of the thumbnail. We put the pressure washer. We put the gas roof pump. We did different things to upgrade him so he will be able to do the hour fast pressure washing houses, right? Because we want to be there is a point that you can get to that you need to get better equipment. But I wanted to hit on equipment because what are the essential things that we need for a pressure washing business, right? We can go and watch all the videos and we can see all the cool equipment and all the gadgets and all the chemicals that people want to sell us. But in the end, what do we need? Like, he has $1,000 pressure washer from Harbor Freight, and he has like four of them, right? He has two spares, and they have good warranty, and you can just take them back and they give you new ones. And so you need a good pressure washer. That's number one. You need a 4 gallon a minute or more pressure washer. And so, as you are looking at the pressure washers, these are things that you need. Now, do you need a $3,000, $5,000 pressure washer? No, you can literally start with a $1,000 Harbor Freight pressure washer, and it will do well for you. It will make you lots of money by doing that. What else do we need? We need a downstream injector, right? We got to get the soap from the bucket to the house, and we do this through the downstream injector. So we need a downstream injector. You can get them depending on what size your pressure washer is, will depend on what size downstream injector you need. So, if you need if you have a 4 gallon a minute pressure washer, you're probably at a 1.8 downstream injector. If you're at a 5, you're probably a 2.1 downstream injector. And so these are things that you need as a downstream injector. You need a J rod that goes with the downstream injector, because otherwise you can't apply the soap to the 2.5-story building if you don't have a good J rod. So we need a J rod or an M5 twist. M5 twist is about $200, $150, $200. So you need that. The next thing you need is a surface cleaner. A really good surface cleaner will help you out a bunch. You need hose. You can get 50 feet, and that's good, but you can get 200 feet of hose of pressure washing and 150 feet of garden hose. Now we can leave the pressure washer in the truck, and now we're not wheeling this thing all over the yard like we're hobos of wheeling this pressure washer all over the yard. So those are really the 5 things that you need to start a pressure washing business. And then the only other thing you need is a 12-volt pump, or you can buy a pump up sprayer. I got a guy out of New York, and he uses a pump up sprayer, and he does $150,000 to $160,000 using a pump up sprayer to do his roofs, right? Or you can go to Harbor Freight. I was actually looking at them, and they sell the 5.5 GPM pumps on the ATV ones that are like 25 or 30 gallons, and they're like $500 or $450. Get you a longer hose on that bad boy, and you're ready to rock and roll. All you need is your battery and a little bit longer hose. $600. You are able to soft wash with it. You're able to do everything with that 12-volt system by doing that. So when we talk about equipment, it's not about all the stuff that we gotta have, right? We need this doohickey and we need that doohickey, and it's about keeping it simple. It really is about keeping it simple. It's really about the essentials of what we need to start a pressure washing business. It's not about the equipment at the end of the day. You can get all the nicest equipment. I know people that have the nicest equipment and they can't get jobs to save their life, and they go out of business and they sell their equipment for really cheap. And so it's about taking action. It's about making things happen. We had Tyler that came up here from, he was a window cleaner, and he's starting to do pressure washing. And, he just wanted to be around here to network with us, and he learned all kinds of things. I put him to work. I needed stuff done on the rig for me to get this thing done in 3 days. Now, could I got it done in 2 days? Absolutely. If I had all the equipment that I had asked to buy for that showed up 2 weeks ago, I would have been able to get this thing done in 2 days. It took me an extra day because we had to overnight stuff that was supposed to get overnighted on Monday night, was supposed to be here on Tuesday. It didn't show up till Wednesday, today at 2 o'clock. So today we sat around till 2 waiting on this stuff to come back up to be able to get this rig up and running in 3 days. So in 3 days, we were able to have a really nice setup with everything done, and I got to do the leak test. And out of the 2 days that we were waiting for stuff and trying to do, means that I knew I didn't have the stuff, I tried to go find it locally, and we spent almost 8 hours driving locally to try to find piecemeal this stuff together, and we without no luck. So we ended up having to get stuff overnighted so we could get this done in 3 days. So yes, I was able to get this rig done in 3 days for Rick, but it took some, making things happen. And I know that a lot of times I think it's very easy, right? Rick was like, I don't know how you do it, and I just sit there and I got it. I know what I need. It's just a matter of me getting it done so that I can get it done. And so these are things that as we grow a business, you will learn and you will become better at, of how to troubleshoot, how to fix things that need to be fixed, how to, Rick is not good at anything mechanical, right? And he will tell you that. And I know there's people out there that are like, if you're not mechanical, you shouldn't start a pressure washing business. And what I want to tell them is if you don't know how to sell, you shouldn't be a pressure washing business, because you can be the best mechanic out there, but you might be the most terrible salesperson out there along anybody. So if you're going to say one person or the other, I'd much rather you tell me you're a good salesperson than a good mechanic that can build anything. Because just because you can build it doesn't mean you can sell it. Now, it doesn't mean you can't hire somebody that can sell, and it doesn't mean you can't hire somebody that can do your business of the mechanical side, right? And so this is why it is important that you figure out how to get the phone to ring, right? The number one most important thing is to get your phone ringing. It doesn't matter what your equipment is. It doesn't matter how you think your equipment is. It doesn't matter if you got $100,000 worth of equipment. If you don't get the phone to ring, it doesn't matter. You're going to be out of business. While we were here, he had 400 yard signs show up. 400. His goal is to put out 200 yard signs a month. What's your goal? What's your goal to be able to get the phone to ring? Is it yard signs? Are you going to post on Facebook every day? Are you going to go knock on doors? Are you going to go send emails? Are you going to post on LinkedIn? What are you going to do to get your phone to ring? And if you say, well, it's just my word of mouth or whatever, that's only going to get you so far. So it's important that we understand what it takes to get our phone to ring. Now, here's some other things that I know that have been some buzzwords here lately of, knowing your numbers. And this is very important. Rick is not a cheap person up here. He has raised his prices up. His average ticket is over like $1,100. That's an average ticket for Rick is $1,100. Now, $1,100 average ticket. This time last year, his average ticket was $600. $600 to $1,100, almost doubled the thing, right? Almost doubled his average ticket. And that's important to understand that is the most important thing that we can do. How can we grow our business? How can I get my average ticket from $600 to $1,100? Now, it's not easy, but it really comes down to how he's been able to do it is he's getting his phone to ring. And when you get your phone to ring more, you're able to raise your prices. You're able to do the things that you need to do to set yourself apart, right? Are you doing all the little things that you need to do to grow your business? Are you, number one, answering your phone? Because if you're not answering your phone, number one thing, you might as well just not even listen to this, because that is the number one thing that's going to make your business grow. Number two is, are you communicating with your customer? Are you letting them know when you're coming? Are you letting them know how you're going to receive their quote? Are you letting them know how easy it is to schedule with you? Is your website letting them know how easy everything is? Is your social media post letting them know that you are the best in the area? I know I had Rick on here this past weekend on Sunday, and he said, I'm the best in Syracuse. Are you the best in your area? That is the question. Are you the best in your area? Do you believe that you're the best in your area? That's the question. So with those things, I just kind of want you to start thinking about how can you think about the customer and make it easy on the customer. A lot of times we want to jump through all these hoops and we want to make all of these things harder for the customer. We want them to fill out all this information that it doesn't matter whether they fill it out or not. We can figure it out. And the less we make them fill out, the easier it is for them, right? It's all about making it easy for our customers. So I hope that makes sense. I know I didn't talk a lot about equipment, but equipment is important for our business, obviously, right? We got to have pressure washing equipment. But we also got to spend money in marketing. We also got to answer the phone. Equipment can make us money, but equipment does not bring us jobs in. And I know that doesn't always seem to sink in for people, but that is definitely something that you got to think about. We need a pressure washer. We need a downstream injector. We need pressure washing hose. We need a garden hose. We need a J-rod. We need an M5 twist. We can do definitely a surface cleaner and a pump up sprayer or a 12 volt, cheap 12 volt system. And we can literally have a very nice money making equipment for under $3,000. $3,000. You can have a very good system that can make you over six figures, no problem. Because equipment does not make you money, right? The equipment, his $1,000 Predator, his Predator pressure washers, that's made him over $1 million in the last 5 years, doesn't make him make that phone ring. And that is something that, everybody's like, oh, I got to have all this nice equipment. But I'm telling you, this is what you need to do. You need to take action. And here's the other thing, right? I know that sometimes it's scary to take action. Fear can hold you back. Don't let fear hold you back. Take action. Take baby steps. Take big steps. And are you going to do everything perfect? No. Because if you was perfect, you wouldn't be here, right? There's nobody ever going to do anything perfect. That's a guarantee. Nobody is going to do everything perfect. Because what you think is perfect today is going to suck next year. You're going to be like, that's terrible. I can't even believe I sent that out. And so you got to just take action, and you can do this. I know that I'm kind of talking to a lot of different people here, and some of you have had rough lives, right? I know that. I know you personally that are on here, that you've had rough lives. You had people tell you you can't do it. You've been told that you're stupid. You have been told that you're not good enough. But I want to tell you something. You definitely are good enough. I promise you're good enough. Because I've seen some people like Rick. You would see Rick, and if you knew his background, you'd be like, if he can do it, I can do it. Right? And so that's why I'm wanting you to know. It's not that difficult, but you have to take action. You got to take the action. You can't just sit there and want it and get it easy and think that you go down easy street and that's going to be good enough for you, because it's not going to work for you that well. So let me know down in the comments what fears you have to overcome, right? What fears do you have to overcome so that you can grow the business, so that you can do the things that you want to do? I want to hear down in the comments. I want to hear it, please. And then while you are doing that, again, if you haven't checked out King of Pressure Wash, Join the membership. If you need a website, it comes with a template website. It comes with Monday Night Marketing. You know, we had Tyler here and Rick, and we were talking about Monday Night Marketing. If you want to be around a group of guys and gals that are doing anywhere from 50 to about 500,000 and you want to grow your business, you need to join King of Pressure Wash. And I understand that you may not want to or you may not see the value, but if you come to those Monday night Zoom calls and you don't grow your business, it's because you're not taking action. That's the only reason why you're not growing your business, because you're not taking action. Because the people on the Monday night Zoom calls are action takers. They're growing their business. They want to get to $1 million. They want to get to $100,000. They want to get to $500,000, and they're action takers. And if you want to be an action taker, you better start taking action. What's up, Mr. Jamie? How are you doing? How do I figure out my expenses? I haven't cleared anything yet. Do you wing it for the first month or so, or do you know what you are using, therefore you will kind of figure out rough expenses to be? It's going to take a little bit to figure it out, because you're going to find out that there's a lot of different expenses that are going to come and hit you, and it's going to take probably 2 or 3 months of you just sitting there knowing what your expenses are, so you'll be able to know what you should be on pricing, right? So that way you can grow your business. Now, a lot of people don't figure this out or never figure this out, but if you really want to grow and scale, it's about knowing your numbers. If you know your numbers, it's just a math game at the end of it. So that's why it is important that you know your numbers. And so as you start trying to figure out your numbers, again, in the beginning, you're going to have lots of different things that are going to be nipping at you, right? Insurance, and how much is bleach, and how much is soaps, and how much is your phones, and how much all of those costs are, right? Because we need to know what all those costs are. If most people that I know, that if you have one truck, you're probably costing you $300 to $400 per day just to start your business, to go start. It costs you $300 to $400 a day just to get out in your vehicle and start it up. If you have 2 or 3 trucks, you're probably $1,500 a day that it's costing you per day to run that truck before you ever make any profit. And here's the thing, a lot of people want to be like, oh, I want to do $1 million, or I want to do this, but it costs them $1 million to get to $1 million. Well, that don't do you no good, right? So you need to know what profit is. I know I've heard some people talk about profit over people, or people over profit, whatever it is. And here's the thing. If you're not making profit, it doesn't matter what your employees are making. It doesn't matter how much you're charging. You're going to go out of business. So people want to think profit's a bad word, and I've been hearing it a bunch, people over profit or whatever they're saying. Let's be honest. If you're not making profit, a nonprofit business for a profit business isn't good. I promise you. If you're not making money, and the only way you make money is you make profit, right? And I want to have employees, and if I got employees and I want to make money for them too, then I got to make money and I got to make profit. Because if I have $1 million business that's bringing in $1 million business, and my employees and all the stuff, my marketing stuff cost me $1 million, and my bottom line is zero, you ain't going to be in business very long. I promise you. So let's just think about this as we are growing our business. Able to break down what you are charging. So again, as we know our numbers, this is why I generally give you some rough estimates of what to charge. Concrete cleaning, you should be 25 to 35 cents. 30 cents is a pretty good area. House washing, 25 to 40 cents a square foot. That's a pretty good area, and you're going to be in profit. Roof cleaning, 40 to 60 cents, right? That's going to know that you're going to be in profit right out of the get-go. Our goal is to charge about $300 an hour is our goal. because, I used to say $200 an hour, but $200 an hour is before inflation hit. So we really want to charge that $300 to $400 per hour. And I know that don't jive with our mindset that you can make $300 to $400, $500 an hour, but you can. And it's important that you believe that you can, because if you tell me, oh, Jason, you can't get that in my area, then you're right, because you don't believe yourself that you can get that. I don't give two rats what your competitors are charging, because your competitors are probably not answering their phone. And if they're not answering the phone, they can be the cheapest person there. But if they don't answer their phone, it doesn't do you no good, right? And so I don't give two rats. Quit worrying about your competition. The only competition you should have is you. How can you do better than you did yesterday? That's the only competition you should have. The background reminds me, what's up, Mr. Seth? How are you doing? Mr. Dan, how are you doing? I'll be coming through Cleveland tomorrow. The honest truth is, when I started out, I bought almost 50% of my equipment on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of pressure washing guys, for one reason or another, ended up selling equipment. The reason why they end up selling the equipment is because they believe they can't charge what they need to charge. And the number one reason why they go out of business is they don't answer their phone. First thing they do is they don't get your phone to ring. They go spend money on the equipment, and they spend zero money on marketing. And the second thing they do is they don't answer the phone when the phone is ringing. And so those are the two number reasons why people go out of business. I found a lot of good hose reels, double barrel wands, hot boxes on Marketplace that were slightly used at 75% of the cost. Facebook Marketplace was good to me on startup. Yep, and you probably could have got it cheaper than that. But I never spared expense on the actual machine and better hose. What's up, Determined Pressures? How are you doing? Can you use oxalic acid to remove oxidation from window frames? You possibly can. It's probably not going to be strong enough. It may be strong enough, but some of that you're going to have to test to see if it is strong enough. Oxalic acid is about the weakest acid that you can get. It's not a very strong acid, so you may have to bump it up a little bit. I'll say it again for the boys in the back of the classroom. Number one, get your phone ringing. This is the most important thing that you can do. And the second most important thing to do is answer it, right? Because if you get your phone ringing, it doesn't matter if you don't answer it, because you will go out of business. How are you doing, Artie? I started washing semi trucks and spent $5,000 on my initial setup, which includes the land I used. I grossed $186,000 last year just washing out refrigerator trailers. For me, it was location. My homeschooler and I are working on it. Awesome. That's pretty cool. I was homeschooled. I guess you turned out all right. Now I'm swinging my business into overdrive with a huge FedEx account just came to me just based on my business reputation. Don't be afraid to expand. It can be done. Absolutely. How do I find a registered agent for creating an LLC? I reached out to someone who owns a pressure washing business, and he stated that I am the agent. Am I missing something? Yeah, you just go to your, all you need to do is go to your Secretary of State website, and most of them will have a way that you just fill out the paperwork. It's super easy. You'll have to go to the Secretary of State website, and you pay like, I don't know, 50 or $100. You got to go through and fill out all the paperwork, and then you'll have to go to the IRS website and get your EIN number. That's like your Social Security number for your business. So those are the two things that you can do, and it's not that hard. Marketing. How you doing? I set up to where I not even regulated by EPA on my site because I collect and filter and reuse every drop of water. It is true closed system. Not having enough time because I suck with homeschooling and getting out there. We do our best. You're sharing your experience, encourage my son and I. And that's the thing, right? You just got to get out there. And you know what? I'll tell you something here right now. Business is the best homeschooling that you could ever teach that kid. Um, Especially, you learn all kinds of stuff. And the best thing about if you are learning through homeschooling, the best way to learn is when you're actually got to try to figure it out. That is the best learning experience, right? Because that is how you are able to make sure that, if you need to learn math, guess what? You'll learn it because you need to know it. You need to know how to count, how to do all your money. You need to know how to do accounting. You need to know how to do the things. You need to understand what billing is and how to bill it. And these are the best math skills that you could ever use out there. So that's a good lesson to learn. How to use the chemicals. What's the chemicals do? There's our science, right? Look, this chemical does this, and this is how it works. And you learn the pH scale. When I was in high school, they taught me the pH scale. It was 1 to 14, and I had no clue what anything was. When I was a fireman, they taught me the pH scale. It was 1 to 14. I didn't have no clue what it was. I knew it was important, but I had no clue. I became a pressure washer. I knew what the pH scale meant. I knew that I need acids to do this and I need bases to do this. And I learned all kinds of stuff because I was a pressure washer. I needed it for firefighting. I needed it. They tried to teach it when I was in high school. I didn't understand any of it. But when I became a pressure washer, I learned all kinds of stuff about the pH scale. Thanks for everything you do. Had no clue how I would have gotten it done. I had another company taking my signs and putting in the same spot. Yeah, that's kind of crappy. Profit First. That is a great book. I highly recommend that book. Profit First. Profit is the best word. I agree. That's messed up. It's enough money out there for everybody. That's not nice. Let me just address that freaking aggregate concrete and how much longer it takes to clean all that extra surface area, and it takes 2 to 3 times as long as to rinse it. So that means you charge more. So that means you charge 40 cents a square foot to clean it and seal or clean it, and then you charge $1 to seal it. So now you're at $1.40 to clean and seal aggregate driveways, and they make it look amazing. That's double what I charge, and I up my prices. Yeah, if you're only at 14 cents a square foot, you need to get up to at least 20 cents a square foot. Um, and you need to get way up on your roofs. There's no roof getting up or under worth $600. Because if you fall off that roof or you kill anything, you are negative very, very fast. Very fast. What's up? I got my first reoccurring business with a restaurant. The first win was bittersweet because I knew I didn't ask for enough. Um, do you wait a whole year to raise your prices? That's kind of hard when when you just started, but the next one I would for sure. Was glad that you didn't have to get involved in the bridge collapse water deal. That's scary stuff. Geofencing advertising. Let your target very specific locations and areas at a much cheaper rate. Google ad is about worthless in many ways. Any suggestions on answering the phone with a full-time job? I've heard of services. Yeah, so you got April Dotson bid slot is one. You got Jill's office is another one. Um, I'm trying to think of any other ones, but there's some other ones out there that do very good, very good. Love your channel, Jason. Thank you for going live and helping all the others out. I like the fact that you interact with those watching. You, the man. You know, I just want to help you guys grow your business. I want to help people help you get to where you need to be at. And if you got questions, I got answers. So that is definitely something that reason why I'm here. Mr. Patrick Clark, I need to have you on one of my lives. Is who I need to have on my live. Big time. George Yost, how are you doing tonight? If I have to pick just one event to go to, what would you choose? The Huge, Sales Boost, PWNA, etc. Depends on what you're wanting to learn, to be honest. Um, if you want to learn, they all have their individual things. I mean, obviously, I would tell you you should come to King of Pressure Washing training. Um, that's where you're going to learn all kinds of stuff. Or if you want to learn how to do Christmas lights or any of that kind of stuff, you can go to kpwtrain.com, and that's where I would tell you to go at. And that way you can learn all kinds of stuff. But that is a good question. But if King of KPW, if you're just starting out pressure washing or you want to learn Christmas lights, but the most important day, or if you want to learn permanent lighting, but the most important day is marketing day. And so that's an 8 hour day of marketing day. And I'm going to change it up some this year. I think I'm going to change it up a little bit of actually helping you all work in your marketing business side of it. So, but I would probably look at. I mean, that is a good question. I would probably look at the Huge. I've always liked the Huge. I know Rick's on here, and Rick is one of, he's like, I don't really care for the Huge because there's a lot of people, and I agree, that get on stage and be like, oh, I'm the best and you need to buy my crap. And so that's the thing I don't like about it. But the networking is, pick one of those, and the networking for any one of those will be worth whatever you spend. Um, any one of those. You go for the networking in any one of those, that would definitely be worth any of it. And so the networking is definitely the most important thing that you can do. Rick's like, I'm going to one or two trainings a year just so that I can network. And he's met very different people around. And so the networking has definitely paid off. He's been to two of my Christmas light classes. And so in both of them, he networked with two different people and got very good information from it. So the networking is definitely something that is the most important. And make sure you network with other businesses in your area. I have businesses that send me customers, and in turn, I send them customers. That way, they may need to provide. That's a minimum $600 off of any roof wash. That's a minimum of any roof wash is at least $600 or more. I'm going to hit your permanent lighting class. I'm in year 3. My insurance cost me $9,000. Is MU agent ripping me off? Um, I, you're in New York City. I don't know where you're at. It depends. What all is that the coverage for? I mean, that sounds high, but I would definitely be shopping that around and seeing what you can do to do better on that. What would it sound like if you were to call and give a quick note on the phone? I want to hear how you present a real quick, how to present. What would you sound like if you were to call and give a quick quote on the phone? Well, first off, I don't give the quotes over the phone. Because if you give quotes over the phone, you're probably not going to give packages. And if you don't give packages, you're probably not going to get high-end tickets, right? You're not going to get your average ticket up. And so I never sold right over the phone. I used Responsibid a lot. And Responsibid, the reason why I did is because I could give them 3 packages. And so I would let them know what I was going to do. So as I say, hi, I'm Jason with King of Pressure Wash. How may I help you? And they would always say, I need my house washed. Awesome. We can definitely do that for you. Let me get information. What's your name? So that way, what's your phone number? What's your email? So the way this will work is I will look up your house, and that way I will make sure I get all the correct measurements, and I will send you an email within 20 or 30 minutes, and it will have all your quotes on it. I can also text it to you if you want me to text it to you also. So yes, I can text and email the quote to these people. So that way they know that they're getting, that they will be getting a quote, right? And so I'm going to walk them through that process of letting them know each step of how and what's going to happen next. Hey, Miss Jones, can I get your address? The reason why I need your address is I'm going to look it up, see how big it is, see if there's anything that, I can let you know how, so that I can send you an email and a text to let you know it will have your bid on there. So that way they know what's coming. And you can give a higher bid. Now, if you're going to do in-person quotes, then we're going to get all that information, and we're going to tell them that, hey, this is when we're going to show up. When is a time that you can be there so that we can show up? Because if they're not there and you show up, you're probably not going to be closing high ticket sales. So that's another importance of why you want to make sure that you let them know when you are going to show up with how you are going to do your bid. If you're going to do it in person, then you tell them how you're going to do it in person. If you're going to do it online, you're going to let them know that, hey, I am going to need this information so that we will send you the quote, and then you can let me know. And then tomorrow, I'm going to call you and to see if you need any help picking out what package you want to pick out, right? And so this is why it is important that we do this, so that way the people understand, because the better you communicate to your customer, and it's not just answering the phone, but however you can communicate to them and you let them know every little detail, all those little details add up to a huge thing at the end of it. And that's why it is important that we do that. I pay an additional $100 a month for environmental impact on my insurance. I always quote in person, takes time but worth it. Had a window quote today, enclosed a house wash, deck wash, and concrete also. That's why we do this, right? That's why we do it. I did all my stuff in person or online, but I definitely see the value if you want to do the in person, because you can upsell a lot more as long as you are in person and you are there helping that person out. And so that's why it is important that we walk around with the customer. And when we walk around the customer, we're not talking about all the crap on the house. We're building that relationship, right? We're going to learn about their grandkids. We're going to learn about their kids. We're going to learn where they go to school at. We're going to learn all their kids' names. We're going to learn what their dog's names is. We're going to get a little creepy, right? Because the more information that we can build and get from them, guess what? When we do go to sell, we can make it sound like our best friends, and we're just here to help you make sure that your house is clean and little Johnny is going to not get sick because of the mold outside, or you're going to be able to have your party this weekend because we're going to get it done. Because a lot of people don't ever ask those questions or don't find that out of what the real reason is to get the house cleaned, and they're selling on something completely different that has nothing to do with what you could be selling on for getting that house cleaned and getting more money at it. 250,000. I charge 10 cents a square foot for 20,000 square feet of concrete. I've never be that cheap. My competitor was at 16 and I felt dumb for being so cheap. Yep. And that's the thing about concrete, especially when we're getting in big jobs like that. Sometimes we do need to come down, but a lot of times it's one of those things that sometimes we can get it for 15, 16 cents a square foot, and then there's times that you can't get it for 4 or 5 cents a square foot. And so you're kind of like playing that game of, is somebody going to come in really cheap, or am I going to be leaving a lot of money on the table? Because, 5 cents a square foot, what you left on the table there per 20,000 is a pretty good chunk of change. So, so you're paying, you're doing $250,000 and you're paying $9,000. That sounds kind of high. That sounds kind of high for you, Grubby. But what other questions you got? I got a few minutes left. Again, you can go, if you didn't know that if you wanted to sign up for whenever I go live, you can text the word King, King, to 859-696-1101. And I text whenever I go live. If you have a question and you want to ask me a question, you can also text this here. Don't put the word King in front of it. You can also text this here, and I will get back to you with your question. So that's just something that if you have something. But again, if you want to know, I am having some in-person training. If you want to go check it out, Christmas lights and pressure washing. I'm going to be in Oregon doing pressure washing and Christmas lights. This is hands-on. You actually get to use the gun. You actually get to put the Christmas lights up. And then the middle day is all about marketing. That's the most important day, in my opinion. How to start your business, how to grow your business, how to do the things that you need to do to grow your business. Is SDS sheet required when you go on job sites using chemicals? Yes. If you have employees, yes, it is required. If you're the owner, I'm not sure how that works. But if you have employees, it is definitely required if you have employees. If you're going into like factories and going to work on somebody else's stuff, I'm going to say probably yes, you need the SDS sheets also. Now, you can do the online version where as long as you have internet, you can have the online version. I actually had mine in a binder with all the instructions of everything else that was in the truck, so that way they could have the SDS sheets and that. Do you have any suggestions for chemical supply at better cost? Do you use a wholesale supplier? I do not. And actually, chemicals is one of the highest things that are markups. They are money makers for a lot of people. I already read Pumpkin Plan, and gutter cleaning is going bye-bye. I have more decks to do than I have capacity. And the good thing about that is then you can raise your prices more for the deck cleanings, right? And that's the great thing about opening up. If you get more and more, you can start raising your prices more and more too. So that's a good thing for that. Are you going to be doing any classes around Georgia? I don't think so this year, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm still trying to figure out my calendar because things have changed on me here lately, and so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be doing all of my classes this year around the country. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I have one in Indianapolis right now, and I have a pressure washing class in Cincinnati. So right now I have two in April. One is in pressure washing and Christmas lights is in Portland, Oregon. Cincinnati is just pressure washing, and then the Indianapolis one is going to be regular Christmas lights and permanent lighting. And permanent lighting is a good business also to get into to make money during the rest of the season. But other than that, that's all I have right now. So that's all I got. But again, if you go check out kpwtraining.com, that'll get you the dates. And then the last thing too is check out King of Pressure Wash for the membership. It does come with a website, a template website. It comes with all the training. It comes with Monday Night Live. It gives you a lot. you have a newsletter for classes so I can stay in the know. If you go to kingofpressurewash.com and go to the podcast, I believe there's a place on there. I think if you go to christmaslights.io, there's a place in the blog that says if you want to stay in touch. That's the two places that I can do. And actually, I'm going to start trying to do more of newsletter types so that way I can give out better, I can give out good information of what you need to do. But other than that, tomorrow I will be headed back to Kentucky. We got the rig built in 3 days. I did break something today that's coming in tomorrow, but it's a pretty simple piece that got to go back on the pump. But other than that, everything went well this week. I got everything built. So I will be headed back to Kentucky. So I'll be driving through Cleveland, Ohio, and all the way back through to little old Kentucky. And that's going to be my day for tomorrow. When creating an operating agreement, if you by chance have an opportunity to get jobs that don't specify what you intend how to do, you got to go about that so you don't go against what's stated on paper. But other than that, I thank you all for coming on here tonight. Thanks for all the questions, and hopefully you learned something. I'll be back on here Sunday night at 9 o'clock. But other than that, I hope you all have a good night, and we'll talk at y'all later.